and welcome to the first episode of the Naz Boys podcast. I'm your host, Mike, aka Mike FobFan 101 on Instagram. Along with me tonight is my good buddy, Spencer, aka Jimmy underscore Jam 48.
Hello, everyone.
Also with us tonight is another friend of mine, underscore Ryan underscore W underscore. I think it's like a double underscore. We'll put his link in the description. All right. So, before we begin the show tonight, I think we would just like to say thank you to all the support we've been getting. When we first had the idea for this show, we didn't think it was going to take off this fast. And I know you're probably thinking to yourself, but 50 so followers and 13 to 14 subscribers on YouTube isn't that much.
Who
Yeah, but when you're
cares?
first starting out in the podcast game like we are, it means a lot. And we hope that you enjoy this show. Now, we are going to start off with a little introduction about ourselves. And if you noticed in the banner, there was a fourth member. Well, actually, there was two members that are absent tonight. One of the members is going to be a permanent member, spud.shady, a.k.a. Brandon. He cannot be here tonight, but he will hopefully be here next week. And I Spy Cam will no longer be on the show, so we will try and figure out who his replacement will be over the off season. Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to read the introduction first about myself, and then I'll read Spud's statement. So, my name is Mike, obviously, as I just mentioned. The story about how I got into NASCAR is somewhat interesting, but at the same time, not surprising. For me, I loved cars, partially because my dad worked in the car business. I was a normal little boy. I also loved the movie Cars, based on racing, as well as Herbie Fully Loaded, and video games such as Mario Kart Wii and NASCAR Kart Racing, also for the Wii. I knew several drivers such as Jimmy Johnson, Dale Jr., Jeff Gordon, the list goes on, like every driver that most people know. I as well would get cars to play with from NASCAR. My first actual experience watching it live on TV was the 2012 Daytona 500. Needless to say, I was hooked when I turned it on and saw my future favorite driver, Joey Logano, was leading. The reason why I picked Joey Logano as my favorite driver is because I think he's a nice guy off the track, and on the track he drives extremely aggressive. In my opinion, NASCAR needs more drivers like him. I first came across him through the game I mentioned earlier, and I thought he was fake because he was in the section of fake drivers, and ultimately decided to root for him. All right, next, Spencer.
The story how I got into NASCAR was also pretty interesting. It all started out with a Jimmy Johnson. I think that gives a hint why he's my favorite driver. Jimmy Johnson's, I believe, 2012 diecast with the blue and white stripes. I'll definitely throw an image up right now of it, and so basically I played with that when I was younger, and then I decided to start watching NASCAR. I honestly can't remember the first race I watched, but I believe I became a fan in 2014, and then I started watching heavily, a hardcore fan in 2015. And obviously I've been hooked ever since, and because of that one diecast, I'll be a Jimmy fan forever, even once he's done from all racing.
All right, Ryan, you're up.
I got into NASCAR pretty basically ever since I was born. My dad would always watch NASCAR. Pretty much since the day I was born, every Sunday from then there would be a NASCAR race on. And I was hooked from then. I would always get the NASCAR diecasts, and living 15 minutes from Pocono Raceway, I think my first race in person was in 2012. And just seeing it in person, hearing all of the cars, seeing them, I just fell in love with the sport. And I lost interest a couple years ago, but I started watching again, realized that it's really cool again. started watching it, and now I'm hooked to it again. My favorite driver is Matt Benedetto because he didn't start off rich. He had to work for it where he's at right now.
All right, well said, Ryan. Now I'm going to read Spud's. Hi, I may not be on the show at this time, but I am here, and I am Brandon, aka Spud, and I will be on as much as possible. I became a NASCAR fan on July 30th, 2017. I went to the NASCAR race for the first time. I loved it and have been hooked ever since. All right, so that was a short but sweet introduction. So now, gentlemen, let's get down to the real business. NASCAR's silly season. There's so many headlines that I think we should talk about, but first, I think we should talk about the biggest headline of the silly season. Bubba Wallace in 23 XI Racing. Whoever wants to go first can.
So this team shall be very interesting as we don't know much about the funding behind it, if it's going to be competitive, if it's going to be a backmarker team. Obviously, it's owned by the one and only Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin. I'm glad they got some big sponsors out of it, and I may not like Bubba Wallace that much, but I'll definitely be excited to see him compete and maybe in better equipment.
Yeah, I have to agree sort of with you, Spencer. I think that at first they're going to have their downs because when you're a new team, Denny Hamlin obviously has never been an owner before. Michael Jordan, this is, I believe, his first experience with the sport besides somewhat being a partner with Hamlin. So it will be interesting to see how much money he's going to put in. And in my opinion, the 23 car will be a fifth JGR car, and I think that once they get to gel a little bit more, they could be a contender. Who knows?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they definitely have big sponsors, and with the partnership with Joe Gibbs, they will be a well-funded team. And I'm not the biggest Bubba fan, but I'm going to root for them. It's cool to see the 23 car back out on track, and I'm excited to see how they're going to do, especially as a first-time team in the sport.
Yeah, Ryan, I agree with you. I'm a big basketball fan, for those of you who didn't know, and Michael Jordan, in my opinion, is the GOAT. So to see two of my favorite sports combined,
Merged into one.
It's also going to be
like
cool
Michael
to.
Jordan's going to own a team in my favorite sport, and I'm not at all a Bubba Wallace fan or a Hamlin fan, but I just think that that's so cool that Michael Jordan's here, and me being a NASCAR fan, I wish them luck. Second silly season move, which is not surprising, Christopher Bell to the 20 and
Some
Eric
epic
Jones to the
schemes.
43. What's your guys' thoughts on that?
I love the schemes of Bell so far. They obviously have all been great. Also, I'm sort of an Eric Jones fan, just because we share the same last name, and I'm excited to see him in the King's equipment. It shall be very interesting. As it seems, he's not going to have much sponsorship because pretty much all his sponsors were JGR sponsors. But it definitely should be interesting, and I wish the best of luck to both drivers.
Yeah, I would have to agree. This is not really a surprising move, in my honest opinion. We knew that Bell, with his youth, I think one's older than the other, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think Eric Jones is younger than Christopher Bell is, or something like that.
I'm pretty sure Eric Jones is older than
Someone
Bell.
correct me in the comments below. But yeah, it's not surprising that Bell was gonna go to the 20. Jones, in my opinion, is an underrated driver. He's not the best, but he's for sure not a bust like some drivers in the Joe Gibbs program.
Yeah, as a fan of Eric Jones, I can confirm that he definitely is underrated. As you can tell, yeah, he kind of got a lucky win at Daytona, but he also led a good 60 laps to get a Darlington win and has shown he can be competitive, and yeah, I think he's definitely underrated.
Yeah, that's true. I was hoping that he would go to Hendrick and be the next Logano, but RPM, we'll see if he can do what Bubba did and outperform their equipment.
Honestly, I was surprised when he went to RPM. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was expecting Bell to go to JGR, but I wasn't expecting Jones to go to RPM.
Yeah, I thought he was going to go to the 42.
Yeah.
So did I.
And then I just remembered this. This is another big moment. Kyle Larson going to the 88 and Alex Bowman being renumbered from 88 to 48. And excuse me on the Larson going to the 88. I meant Larson going to the 88, renumbered to the 5. So what's y'all's thoughts on that?
I like it. I wasn't really a Larson fan at first, but now I am because I'm a fan of Hendrick, and I'm glad to see Larson back in the sport. He deserved a spot in it.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not the biggest fan of people who say the N word with the hard R, and I know that it could be a publicity stunt, but if he really is going for a second chance, I will for sure root for him, and I'm glad that he gets this opportunity. One correction I would have made is, if you guys don't remember, in 2012, Kurt Busch, when he had those temper issues and he got fired from Penske, he had to start his way from the bottom and work his way back up. I wish Larson did that, but hey, Hendrick got a good driver out of it, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting move. Not Alex Jones. Alex Bowman. He's probably my third favorite Hendrick driver, so I was pretty excited when it was announced he's going to the 48. I feel like he's probably the best option they had to sort of, I guess, replace Jimmy Johnson, and also the move to Kyle Larson to the 5. Like you said, Mike, I think he should have started from the bottom and work his way up, but that didn't happen, and I guess we'll just have to deal with it. And I don't think he's going to be competitive next year, just being out of racing for almost a year. But I think in 2022 he might be a championship contender because he has shown a lot of speed with the bottom 5-star equipment. So I can't imagine what he's going to do with top 5-star equipment.
I think Larson will be a playoff contender. Call me crazy, but I think that he will. I think that he's a very talented driver. And I feel like that on the tracks that he missed, he could potentially get a win, like at Homestead, for example.
Yeah, he has shown way too much speed there. It's kind of scary.
Yeah. Now, Spencer, my question for you is, are you going to be rooting for Alex Bowman, or are you rooting for someone else?
I will be rooting for Kevin Harvick, but I've just become kind of more of an open fan where I just kind of cheer for everyone. I still have some drivers I hate, obviously, because I haven't grown quite out of that, but yeah, I guess I'll go into why I chose Kevin Harvick. Basically, I guess I kind of just like veteran drivers, and also he just seems down to earth. And I'll be honest, I also kind of bandwagon because he's good.
Bandwagon, yeah.
But yeah, he that was very sad to see him at Martinsville. That broke my heart for sure.
Yeah, I agree with you. My heart was broken as well. I really wanted him to get to the Final Four because I truly believe that he deserved it. Also, congrats to Chase. I ain't hating on Chase.
Yeah.
Alex Bowman to the 48. Not surprising. I think that this is the right choice. Because I didn't want them to get Noah Gragson because Noah Gragson is not ready for Cup.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that this is the completely right decision, and I wish Alex the best of luck.
Same.
Yeah.
Speaking of Bowman and Larson, what about the sponsorship issues Hendrick has been having?
Sponsorship issue. That's a good question.
It's kind of heartbreaking to see just a bunch of the Hendrick sponsors, they've just been there for years, just dropping out. As a Hendrick fan, it's sad for sure.
Yeah, and now Lumar left the 5 and is going to the 9 car for Chase Elliott.
They have to capitalize on Chase, honestly. He's a money maker.
Yeah, love him or hate him, he is
One of the most
he
consistent.
makes a lot of money. He makes a lot of money
Chase
for
is
Hendrick.
definitely not a driver who got in there because of his name. Well, part of the reason he is, but in my opinion, he's shown a lot of skill, and I think that he will be a contender for years to come.
He's definitely proved that he deserves to be where he is.
Yeah, exactly. He's not a daddy's boy who just gets in there because of his money.
I mean, 11 career wins and a championship already. Like, that's almost
that's pretty good.
unthinkable.
Imagine what your favorite driver was doing with that.
And like, what, his 5th season, right? For Chase?
Yes, I believe.
Yeah, because his first full-time season was in 2015, if I remember correct.
Yeah.
Or I think I think his first full-time season was 2016, but he raced part-time in 2015. I may be wrong though. I'm not sure. I have a horrible memory.
Yeah, same. All right, next move. John Hunter Nemechek leaving the 38. Just sudden. They didn't fire him, and he just left on his own. Any thoughts on that?
He was showing speed at the beginning of the season, but then he kind of fell off, and also it seemed like the tires just didn't really like him for some reason. But I think it was the right move going down to trucks and KBM. I believe it was KBM. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay.
You're right.
Yeah. So hopefully he'll be competitive there and can work his way up because I don't know why I'm just kind of drawn to him for some reason.
Yeah, KBM is definitely going to be a very competitive truck team. Just off topic of that, I feel like they're gonna win a lot of races with Chandler and Don Hunter, and we'll see what happens with them. For me, that move was kind of sudden because I wasn't expecting him to just be like, "Okay, I'm gone."
Head out.
Yeah, that came out of nowhere. Probably the most shocking silly season news.
Yeah. He's probably going to try to prove himself to try to get back in Cup in a better team, which I would do.
Makes sense. It's the smart thing to do.
And I was always a fan of his dad, so I'm a fan of him too.
I mean, I feel like John Hunter could have made it in Cup. He just needed to show that speed that he had after the you know what. I don't know if I can say it because YouTube might copyright us, but whatever. You know, I'll just say pandemic.
What would they call? Oh,
it's YouTube. You know.
Well, we're not making any money, so we should be good.
Yeah, we're not monetized, so screw it. Pandemic. After the pandemic, he showed a lot of speed. He was very consistent, and quite honestly, I thought he was a contender for Rookie of the Year along with Tyler Reddick.
Yeah.
All right, next topic. The two new teams in the sport besides 23XI, Trackhouse and Spire. Spire's not new, but Trackhouse is very new.
Yeah. I don't think they're going to be very competitive, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's like, no disrespect to Trackhouse, but Justin Marks is like the last person I thought would make a team.
Yeah.
I hope that they do good. I hear that they have an alliance with RCR. Again, please correct me if I'm wrong with that. So maybe that this could be Suarez's chance to improve. I feel like this is where he belongs because Suarez, he's not good enough for the big name teams like Joe Gibbs and Stuart Haas. Yeah. But he's too good for the back marker teams like.
Yeah, he did fairly good for Haas when he was in the 41.
Just not quite enough.
Making a playoff appearance.
Yeah.
You know, actually winning a race. But I don't want to do Daniel Suarez slander. We can have a debate in that in private DMs.
For sure.
Yeah, Spencer knows me. I get into debates with people.
Yeah.
I don't say anything about Suarez. We're going to lose all of our Mexican viewers.
No, as long as we're respectful, whatever.
Yeah.
Which most of us are respectful.
Yeah.
Anyways, Spire, which it's not surprising to me that they decided to be a full-time team. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I think Corey LaJoy was definitely the right move. I don't know who else they would really choose to, do good for them. Because
Yeah, I agree.
I
I'm
think
glad Corey has the ride for next year.
they're not going to be a competitive team, but I think Corey might be able to make them slightly competitive, just because. I'm glad to see him in the 7 car because I don't know why I'm just drawn to the number 7, so it's pretty cool, I guess, to see him in the 7.
Yeah, Corey's good enough to get with Spire. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Go Fast is not filled up, and the other 38 car is not filled up.
How would Go Fast only expected to race like 3 or 4 races, something like that?
Yeah.
That.
Wait, never mind. Go Fast is now Live Fast.
Oh.
BJ McLeod and Matt Tiff, yes.
Oh yeah.
Again, that's another team that I didn't expect. Last people on my list.
That makes Matt Tiff the youngest team owner, I believe.
Probably.
Yeah.
Glad he's still finding a way to get into the sport after all his health issues.
Yeah, I agree. I feel so bad for Matt Tiff. He seems like such a good dude. He doesn't deserve this.
Yeah.
Let's see. I believe we talked about all the teams. I don't know if we're going to talk about Xfinity on this show, so should we just move on, or should we talk about that?
Probably move on, I would say.
Spencer, do you want to talk about the lower series?
Not this episode. Maybe in later episodes, but...
Yeah, we'll talk about it in the season, but... comment down below if you want us to talk about lower teams in the second episode. Because we will talk about it later when the season starts.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, now let's get into a fun part. Grades for each of the full-time drivers. So I will go first. Kurt Busch. He had a normal season for him, 1 win. That win came at his home track, Las Vegas. Congratulations to him about that. I was very happy about that, being Kurt Busch is my second favorite driver. So I'm going to give him a C+. Yeah. You guys have a grade or?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, same.
All right. Number 2, Brad Keselowski. I thought he was a championship contender. He was fighting a lot with Harvick and Hamlin a lot. And I didn't think he was going to win the championship, but I knew he'd make it to the Final Four. I'll give Brad Keselowski an A.
Same.
I probably would give him more an A minus because he kind of he fell off a little towards the end of the season, in my opinion. But
yeah,
you're not wrong.
Definitely an A for sure. Definitely in the A column.
Austin Dillon, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not the biggest Austin Dillon fan, but he impressed me with his win at Texas.
And then
made it
playoff
to the playoffs
run.
and made a strong run at Darlington. He came out swinging after the pandemic, so
came second twice in a row in the playoffs.
Yeah, you're right. So I'm gonna give him
maybe a
C+.
Maybe. Yeah.
I think C+ is fair because he did start the season out normal, Austin Dillon. Then the pandemic happened, and then he came back with a faster car.
Yeah, so C, I agree with that.
C+ is fair.
All right, Harvick, we already know A+.
10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Or should I say 4 out of 4?
I might have to bump it down to an A just because he wasn't able to capitalize in the round of 8. As much as I hate the playoffs, it really was his fault.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's just, that's what happens during this playoff format. We will definitely talk about that in another episode. But yeah, I feel like Harvick should have won the championship. That's very obvious that he should have.
Yeah.
And if he didn't have, then it should have been him.
Yeah, it should have been Harvick, Hamlin.
I agree with that. Moving on, you guys gave your grades A's, right?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, 5, 6, Ryan Newman. had that terrible crash at Daytona.
Yeah, I'm
Came
I'm
back.
still I'm still terrified by that. I can't
Oh
even
yeah.
watch that, even though I know he's fine.
I
I
saw it again today, actually, on Instagram. It was just a reminder of like how terrifying it is. It was.
I knew something was bad right away. As soon as he was
Yeah.
going on his roof, I'm like, this is not good.
Yeah, off topic. I did not watch the wreck live, and I was at a TKD class, Taekwondo, and I came back and I was looking on my phone. I thought Ryan had won the race, and then I was talking to my dad, and he said that Newman flipped over in a terrible crash. And I saw that, and I was completely freaked out. But I'm glad Newman was able to come back,
And
and he was
have a
normal Ryan Newman. So I'm gonna give him. I'll give him a C.
I'm gonna give him a D plus because just
I'm gonna
considering
give
last
it
year
B
he was a
plus.
considering last year he was a playoff contender, and then this year he just didn't even come close. Even though he missed 4 races, or 3 races, but still, I think he should have been more competitive. But yeah,
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I didn't sleep well today. Well, I couldn't sleep that night after the wreck. I was so worried about him.
yeah.
Oh yeah, Sam. I thought he died.
Same.
Like I was waiting for another Dale Senior moment.
I'm not gonna lie. I definitely had tears in my eyes, and I was like just shaking.
Yep, I was waiting for the announcement that he passed.
Yeah.
Especially since at that time, he was definitely in top 5 of my favorite drivers. So that was
All
especially
right.
traumatizing.
Tyler Reddick. He had a solid rookie season, in my opinion. He should have been the rookie of the year, but I can see why Custer was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's unfortunate, but
I'll
Sure.
give him. I'm trying to decide whether I want to give him a B minus or a C because he didn't make the playoffs, but at the same time he was very consistent.
I would say it's a B minus. I mean,
yeah.
he should have been rookie of the year because he was more consistent than Custer was. In
Yeah,
my
and
opinion.
in regular season points, he also beat out Custer. So if we're going off regular
Yeah.
season points, yes, he should have been rookie of the year. But due to the playoff system, that did not happen.
Yeah, I'll give him a B minus. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
9, 10, Eric Amarola. Eric started out normal Eric Amarola. He came back when random qualifying happened, kept getting the pole. He was definitely consistent. I'll give him that. Yeah, he's another driver that I just don't know what to give him. I'll give him a B minus.
Yeah, he's one of my favorites, but judging by the performance, I gotta give him like a C, B minus, around there.
I would give him like a C plus, and also I think we accidentally skipped over Elliott.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
Oh.
Excuse me.
Skipped over the season champion.
Sorry, Elliott fans.
I would give him an A.
Obviously won the championship. Very consistent.
5
Obviously
wins.
He's going to win on all the road courses. I'll give him. I don't want to.
I'll give him an A, but not as high of an A as Hamlin or Harvick.
Harvick, yeah. I'll give him an A.
Yeah, he's definitely able to capitalize in the final race. I don't know why people are really upset about that when he dominated it, but
yeah, starting from
NASCAR fans will be NASCAR fans.
People don't like Elliott fans. Even though, quite honestly, like I'm not a huge fan of a lot of Elliott's fan base, they were not toxic whatsoever. They were celebrating like any other fan would, and I only met like 1 or 2 toxic fans.
I don't mean to kind of like go off topic, but I just kind of want to make this point. Like I've said this to you several times, Mike, but I feel like at this point the Chase fans have matured quite a bit, and I don't mean to offend anyone, but Chase haters are just not being the nicest of people. They're Chase fans.
Yeah.
Well, just be excited when their driver's in a post or say their opinion, and then they just kind of get attacked for literally no reason when they're just stating their opinion, and it's I just hate to see people's opinions getting attacked just simply because they like a driver that the other person doesn't like.
Which, spoiler alert, we will go about toxicity in a little bit when we're done with these grades. We did Eric Almirola because I was stupid and forgot what number Chase Elliott drove.
Way to go, Mike.
Brilliant.
So, number 11, Denny Hamlin. He had a great season. I don't know if
Jesus.
he should have won the championship, like I said earlier. Harvick should have.
I mean, he got the doubleheader as one out of the doubleheader.
He kind of did fall off in the playoffs a little bit. I mean, he was still extremely consistent, but just not consistent with wins. I don't think he got a single win in the playoffs. I may be wrong.
I gotta look through the stats again.
Yeah.
So I'll give him an A+ because he was a championship contender.
Yeah, definitely an A+.
I mean, he won the Daytona 500. That's something right there. Number 12, Ryan Blaney. He disappointed me. I'm not gonna lie. He disappointed me.
He was showing
be up there with like the round of 8, round of.
Yeah, during the regular season, he was
his playoff because Todd Gordon really screwed him by forgetting about that weight in the car. But just his performance in the regular season even disappointed me. He almost won the Daytona 500, yes. He almost won, I believe, at Auto Club, yes. But he got his one win, his usual win at Talladega, making him a plate racer, great plate racer.
Penske's just too good at plate tracks. It's kind of scary at this point.
B.
Yeah, I'll give him a B too.
I'm gonna have to go with a B- just because of how much he fell off in the round of 16.
Yeah.
Well, in his defense, it wasn't his fault. It was Todd Gordon's fault. I think if that would have happened, he would have gone out in the round of 12, even though I predicted him in the round of 8.
Yeah.
13, Ty Dillon. Usual season for him.
He impressed me at the Daytona road course, I think it was.
Oh, yes, you're right.
Yeah.
Or the Roval. It might have been the Roval, too.
Roval, I think it was the Roval.
Yeah. He did impress me with that. I'll give him that. So, I'll give him a D.
That's what you said.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll have to give him a D, too. That sounded really weird saying, but...
Same.
Alright. Moving on. Number 14, Clint Boyer. He did okay, I guess. Normal Clint Boyer year.
Yeah, if you actually look at the regular season points, because I was looking at that, I think he did better than most people thought.
Yeah,
he almost beat out Eric.
He's not a bad driver. He's just...
He almost beat out Eric Almirola for arguably...
Which, by the way, thank you, Clint, after you retired.
Yeah, excited to see him in the Fox booth. I'm excited that the Fox booth is going to get its energy back.
They needed after Daryl left.
Yeah, Daryl was definitely carrying the Fox booth. Now it needs a new carrier.
Okay. You guys graded Boyer, right?
I don't think we did yet.
Nah. I might have to say a
B-.
C-.
I'll have to give him a B-, just because he kind of flew under everyone's radar.
I'll give him a C.
Yeah.
Next up, 15, Brendan Poole. He kind of got taken out later in the year, I believe.
Yeah, and made that, I think, that really dumb move at Texas, I believe, pitting from the second lane while there's like 3 cars under him.
That was Half.
Oh, that was Health? Oh, that's right. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, we forgot about grading Half. I automatically give him an F.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about the mistake. I have no memory. They're pretty much the same drivers at this point.
Yeah, in this podcast, we're going to be real. Like, quite honestly, in this podcast, we're going to do our best to prepare, but at the same time, we're going to forget, and we're not going to care because we're nice guys, and we just want this to be a real experience for you guys.
Yeah.
So anyway, Half definitely gets an F. Brennan Poole, I'm gonna give him a D minus because of how irrelevant he was throughout the year. I'm just
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even for a underfunded team, he didn't really perform too well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
16, 17, Chris Buescher. He had a typical year where he just would do good on the plates.
Yeah.
Yeah. He
I'll give him a
where did he
I'll
ever
say a C.
where did he ever
C-minus.
strong run at? I know it was towards the end of the year. Was it Texas? Yeah, it was Texas. I think he finished like third. So that's a thing
That's
of
not
note.
bad. But yeah, I'll give him a C minus.
Yeah.
Next up, Kyle Busch.
Yep.
KFB.
Kyle. Yep.
We're not gonna say that because
Yeah, I know.
I don't know how old our viewers are, and I don't want to teach them that. So yeah.
Kyle
I'm
Furry
a nice
Busch.
guy. I'm a nice guy. All right. Kyle effing Busch.
Kyle
He
Furry Busch.
did not have the best year for himself. He
Was able to.
was good, but he had terrible luck. Definitely had a championship hangover like Keselowski did in 2013.
Yeah.
So,
Even
I
though.
can't fault him for his terrible luck.
He was consistent down in the playoffs. He was like leading almost every race, even though he got messed out of it.
I agree.
Even though
I give him a B minus.
Yeah.
Yeah, even though I don't like Kyle Busch that much, it was kind of weird and kind of hard to see him just not being competitive,
Yeah, I agree. It was weird not seeing Kyle Busch be up there all
or
the
just
time.
all of
Especially
JGR.
after a championship.
He won only like a couple of
Two.
stages, right? Like 2 or 3
Oh,
stages.
yeah.
One race win. I mean, he did keep the streak alive, which is very impressive.
Yeah.
19, Martin Truex. Started out kind of bad at the beginning of the year. Pandemic, he was meh. Playoffs, he came back to form.
I'm going to say a B plus for him.
I'm gonna have to go with a C minus just because he didn't show much speed all season other than at the first Martinsville where he got the win and obviously dominated that race. It's just not what we usually see from Truex. At this point, we're used to see him getting nearly 10 wins, so it would, yeah.
True. I agree with Ryan, except instead of plus, I'll give him a minus for his bounce back.
Minus. Yeah.
Number 20, Eric Jones. We talked about him earlier in the show, moving to RPM and Bell taking his ride. He had his usual season besides the win. So I'm going to go with a C. I'll just give him a C.
Yeah, same. I'll go like right in the middle because he had just an average season.
And then number 21, Matt DiBenedetto. He did fairly well with Wood Brothers, like what people expected, even though people expected him, including myself, to get a win.
He almost did, but
I'm going to give him a B.
He arguably
I'm
kind
going to
of...
say a B minus.
Yeah. And he arguably kind of possibly got screwed out of a win at, what was it, Talladega?
Yes,
Talladega 2.
playoff win, the race that almost made me hate NASCAR.
Yeah, there's definitely...
seeing him cry actually made me cry.
Yeah, definitely a very down-to-earth guy, but anyways, my rating for him is B minus. I'll go with that.
Alright, now, my favorite driver, Joey Logano. I'm not going to be biased.
Yes, you are. You're going to be biased. Just kidding.
Automatic.
Alright. Joey Logano, he had a usual season for him, I believe.
Yeah,
3 wins.
Definitely fell off after the pandemic. Well, until the playoffs, he definitely stepped up in the playoffs. And it's like, yo, I'm still good.
Like usual, Joey Logano gets in Final Four. You can say what you want, but partially me being biased and partially me being a race fan, I think he deserved that. So I'm going to give him an A minus.
I'm going to give him a B plus.
Same with the B plus for me.
All right. Number 24, 24, William Byron.
Willie B.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try
career
not to be
win.
biased with this one, but it's gonna be hard because for those who don't know, even though I'm a Hendrick fan, I absolutely despise Byron for some reasons that may or may not have happened at Daytona.
Yeah, same here with Spencer, and I also don't like his fan base that much. You can come at me all you want. But Byron, I'm gonna do an unbiased thing here, as I've done with everybody. Byron, he had an average year besides the win. Good for him, he did win. It was off a 4-wide move, but I can understand why he made that. I'll give him a C plus.
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
I would say B minus because of the win.
Yeah. 25, 6, 7, 30. Corey LaJoy, I believe, is next. If I forgot somebody.
Oh, I believe you.
31.
Yeah, you didn't forget anyone. Next is Corey LaJoy.
Good. Corey LaJoy had a normal season for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was obviously heavily hated because of a certain scheme, but we're not going to get into that because no politics in this thing.
Especially
but-
because he didn't even know he was running that scheme until the day after the race.
Yeah, I saw that, and you can't. I'm just gonna say this. This is the only political talk. You can't hate someone because of their political views. We as Americans have the right to express our political view.
Yeah.
I mean, they are an underfunded team, so I get you.
I mean, that's worth it.
Whatever
they get
sponsor you can get money out of.
money from who, and he's loaded. So.
And I mean, who really wouldn't want to be sponsored by the President of the United States? I mean, that's an offer that I wouldn't pass up, even if I didn't politically agree with them.
Yeah, if I agreed or disagreed, I'd be like, okay, you're gonna fund my race team, you're gonna fund my car, that's fine.
Yeah, even if my opposing political person were to sponsor a team, if I owned one, I wouldn't turn it down.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I'd probably give him a
34. Michael McDowell. He had his usual season.
Yeah.
Good on road courses and restrictor plates.
Definitely one of the most hated drivers there for a day.
He also won the award last year for most last place finishes.
And he dumped Bubba Wallace at the All-Star Open this year. I'm gonna give him a D plus.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
Definitely D plus.
5, 6, 7, 38. John Hunter Nemechek. We talked about him earlier in the show as well.
Yeah.
He had some solid moves throughout the season.
Yeah, and then just kind of fell off.
After the pandemic, he was definitely a contender for Rookie of the Year, and then just fell off, and then became a working caution. So I'm gonna have to say C minus. No.
D
Do
plus.
I give him a C minus or D?
I'm giving him a D plus.
I'll give him. Yeah, I agree with Spencer. I'll give him a D plus.
Yeah, same.
All right, 38, 39, 40, 41. Cole Custer, Rookie of the Year, won his first race in Kentucky. He was mad besides that win.
I'm gonna give him a C.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to also give him like a C. I can't remember what I gave Byron, but definitely whatever I gave Byron, somewhere around there. Probably just like a plus or minus lower.
See, here's my thing. If he can develop into a solid driver like what he was in Xfinity, and when Harvick retires, and then they got Chase Briscoe, which, by the way, we forgot to mention Chase Briscoe in the silly season. Not surprising at all that he got that ride. I'm very happy that he got that ride.
Yeah.
If there was something else that we missed, please let us know. We're kind of nervous since this is our first episode of the show.
We should talk about Cindric, because he's running a few races in Cup next season.
Yeah, good for him. Not surprising.
Yeah, but what number will he be driving though?
I don't know.
That's...
We'll find that out later, and then when we do, we'll report it. Anyways,
I think it'll be the
Custer
O2.
will be the future with Chase Briscoe. So for now, this rookie season, I'll give him a C, and hopefully he improves.
Yeah, same. I hope to see him do great things, and maybe steal a championship.
Now this next one, this is kind of confusing. Kyle Larson / Matt Kenseth. Kyle Larson obviously ran all the races before the pandemic, and then
he said the no.
He said a racial slur, which we all know what happened. Matt Kenseth had to take over. So do we grade them both, or do we just grade one?
I'm just gonna grade both. Since we mentioned both, I would probably give Kyle Larson for the 4 races he ran probably like a B plus, maybe even an A minus, just considering.
I don't even remember much of the first races he ran.
I know I think it was Brennan Poole. It took him like over 20 races just to pass Kyle Larson in points. So,
that's not good.
Yeah, so I believe Kyle Larson had a strong 4-race run, and then. So you guys can see your grades on him now, and then we'll move on to Kenseth.
I'm gonna say Larson B minus.
Yeah, same.
And then Matt Kenseth, I don't know.
Kind of disappointing.
Yeah, that was pretty disappointing. I'll have to give him a D plus.
No disrespect to Matt because he is a champion. He has won a lot of races. He's definitely a good driver. But man, what were you thinking coming out of retirement? He should have basically a walking caution like Half and Nemechek did. He spun out 3 times in one race one time. So I'm gonna give him a freaking D. Give him a D. Screw it.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him a C minus.
I mean, yeah, he did have that one good run at the Brickyard. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
43, Bubba Wallace. He had that whole thing with his beliefs about the Black Lives Matter movement.
Had a few strong runs towards like the first half of the year, and I feel like he fell off a little bit on the second half of the year. I feel like because he was in playoff talks, and then all of a sudden he wasn't.
I personally think he cracked under the pressure when he was running up front.
Well, the thing is that he ran up front most of the time in restrictor plate races, so you can definitely count him for that. And anything can happen at a restrictor plate race.
I say a B minus.
I'm gonna give him a B minus strictly for the fact that he outperformed RPM equipment.
Yeah.
I'll have to give him a C plus because with him being hyped up so much, I honestly kind of expected a little more from him, but still pretty impressive what he's able to do with that pretty shitty equipment.
Yeah.
47, Ricky Stenhouse. Oh wait, we forgot the 37, Ryan Preece. Excuse me.
Well, no offense to him, but he's kind of forgettable.
Yeah.
Ryan Preece
had that scary wreck at Kansas, I believe.
Yes, extremely hard.
He gets some of the hardest wrecks.
Yeah,
like, whenever he wrecks.
Yeah, I know he DNF'd. I think like 10 races in a row or something like that, and like most of the crashes just weren't his fault. He was just getting really unlucky.
Yeah.
Alright, anyways, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. had his typical year, except for a few crashes. I'll give him a C plus. Why not?
I'll give him a C.
48, Jimmy Johnson. We all know this man. Thank you, Jimmy. 7-time champion among one of the GOATs.
I'm gonna miss you, my dude.
Yeah.
Had a typical year ever since 20...
A typical ally Jimmy Johnson season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
had some strong runs.
I will unfortunately have to give him a C, even though he's one of my favorite drivers.
Yeah.
Same. I had so much high hopes for this last season.
Oh, yeah, same.
Yeah, I'll have to give him a C too. It hurts me to do that, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
I don't know if we should do the Rick Ware cars because they were basically a walking caution and their cars just switched every week.
Yeah.
But if we were doing it, I would give them an F. I'm not sorry.
D minus.
Yeah.
because they did have a strong
Pretty
run
much.
at some places, but not impressive.
Timmy Hill, he was a full-time guy, so let's grade him.
Oh God.
Back marker. I'm just gonna keep it real with you.
Sorry.
He did win that virtual race.
Sorry, people, but overrated.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I'll give him a D for his real life,
yeah.
A+ for his virtual career.
Yeah, I'll give him a D too.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, Alex Bowman, 88. He showed some promise. I think he was pretty good. I thought he was going to be a championship contender in the beginning of the season.
Yeah, got that early win at Auto Club and fell off a little bit, but was still be able to be somewhat consistent.
Yes, I will give Alex Bowman a B.
I'm gonna have to give him a B minus because I expected a little more from him.
He had that early win, but it was just more downhill from there.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I believe that Christopher Bell, last driver, he had kind of a disappointing season. Christopher Bell, 95.
Yeah, I expected a lot more out of him.
What most people expected, but you can't give such expectations to a rookie in his defense.
Yeah.
I'll give him a C plus, maybe C or C plus.
I'm gonna have to give him a C minus, but a lower C minus.
And I believe that is everybody for the grades. Comment down below.
Daniel Suarez. I forgot about Suarez.
Full time or no?
Not full time, no. So.
Oh, I'm not counting the full time.
No.
I'm not counting the part time drivers. I'll do full time.
I think we just got Suarez now.
Oh yeah, Suarez, 96.
Yeah.
Missed the 500.
Okay. He outperformed Gaunt Bros, which is good. He was good on restrictor plates. I'm gonna go and give him D plus.
Yeah, I'm gonna say a C minus.
I'm gonna have to go with the D plus too.
Yeah.
All right, and that concludes the grades. Comment down below if we missed anything because, like we said, this is our first episode of the podcast, and
we didn't really prepare that much, to be honest.
Also, comment down below the grades that you would give the drivers.
Yes, please do. We'd love to read them, and we'd love to debate.
We'd love to hear your opinions on everything and interact with you guys.
Yeah, exactly. So, we got one more thing that I wrote down here, and then we'll close it. So, before we close, we all want to make a statement about recent events that are happening in this community. I will start. We get that this community can be toxic AF, and we don't like it. We come to this community because no one else will listen to us ramble on about NASCAR. To see blatant racism and or pedophilia is astonishing. In this podcast, we want to show ourselves as four cool guys who like NASCAR. No toxic BS, no political stuff, none of that. We want to just show you guys that we are real dudes. And if we make a mistake, we want to hear that we made a mistake. And we want you guys to laugh along with us because we will for sure laugh along with it.
Yeah.
We hope that you continue to enjoy this show. And like I said in the beginning of the show, thank you all for your support on this.
I guess I'll go next. Pretty much just what Mike said, but I'll add my own little words to it. It's just extremely unfortunate, like Mike said, to see racism, pedophilia, and see someone kind of get away with racism. We're not going to name names, and we're not going to talk about my opinions. We're not going to talk about my opinions too much because opinions are very scary in 2020. Yeah, it just breaks my heart to see the NASCAR community just getting such a bad rep, and because it makes me look bad, it makes Mike look bad, it makes Ryan look bad. It's obviously we're all very good people, but due to some people, we get a bad, like I said, we get a bad rep. I'm kind of just going in circles at this point, but
basically.
Yeah, I just hope this community gets up, and as you know, it's very toxic, and I hope that we can all grow up together and learn to love each other and not hate on each other.
Well said, Spencer.
Yeah,
If you guys want to also read his opinion, go follow him on Instagram. As I said at the top of the show, Jimmy_Jam48. His link will probably be in the description. You can go read about that. He makes some funny ass memes as well.
yeah. Most of the community is good too. It's just like few people that do unhealthy stuff, and that's what everyone sees, and they all judge the community based off those people.
Yeah, unfortunately, it seems
Yeah,
like
you're
this.
right. I agree with that. There's definitely going to be good and bad everywhere you go, whether it's school, whether it's this community, whether it's another fandom, whatever you're into, there's going to be good people and bad people. That's just the way the world is these days.
Yeah, Joseph Lombard was one of my favorites. He inspired me a lot when it came to racing. So
yeah, exactly.
Hearing the news about that just
didn't
feel real.
Yeah, I would have to also agree with what Ryan said.
Yeah, I didn't ever really watch Joseph Lombard that much, and I didn't just. And the times I did, I really didn't like him personally. So
he kind of gave me a bad vibe, but at the same time, I found his content.
He kind of gave me a vibe that he was kind of just annoying. So that's why I didn't really watch him.
Yeah. Spud's statement. He says, "I am disappointed, but I know that there are good people here. The people who took me in are almost immediately when I got onto Instagram, the ones who support me in my deepest times. We need to find a way to shut down the bad people. I'd like to thank the people who point them out and show proof that they are not good people. But I know that there is more light than dark. In today's society, all we see is dark. Thank you, Spud." And that is going to conclude the first episode of the Naz Boys podcast. Thank you guys so much for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe to this channel. Make sure you follow all our Instagrams. Thank you to Ryan for joining on such short notice. Maybe we'll have him back. Maybe we will have him back permanently. Maybe we'll find someone else. Like we said,
this is really fun.
Yeah, I've definitely had a good time with you, buddy.
Yeah.
You guys too.
We're gonna
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for coming on again. We're gonna definitely test out our options as well because we want to give everybody a chance to talk. And we will see you guys on the next episode.
Yep. See you, everyone.